Hello and welcome back to Mr. Mayor's Book Chats. Got 5 new books to talk to you today about. First one is War Stories by Gordon Korman. And you may have read other books by him, but this one's a little bit different because it's a historical fiction book, which is kind of somewhat different from his usual. But it's about Trevor, who loves playing war video games. And he loves hearing stories from his great-grandfather, Jacob, who was a World War II war hero. At the height of World War II, Jacob helped liberate a small French village and was kind of given this hero's welcome when he returned to America. Now it's decades later after that, and Jacob wants to retrace the steps he took during the war. So he decides that he wants to take Trevor, his great grandson, with him. And Trevor thinks this is a great idea. He's going to hear all these war stories about the places that they're visiting. And so this is told in alternating chapters between Trevor's and Jacob's visit to France, but also the time during the war. And you see Jacob's kind of stories come into life back in the 1940s. So if you like historical fiction, if you like stories about war, in World War II especially, check this one out. Next one is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. This is the prequel to the Hunger Games that many of you have heard about and read about. So this takes place during the 10th annual Hunger Games. And Coriolanus Snow is 18 years old at the time. And he is kind of preparing for his big moment because he is a mentor for one of the districts. And it happens to be the 12th district. It kind of pulls the short straw because Lucy Gray Baird, even though she's vibrant and wild and a singer and a bit of a performer, he's not real excited to be this mentor. And kind of the stakes pick up because he has to win. Lucy has to win in order for Snow to kind of, his family is down on some hard times, and he needs to bring fame and fortune back to his family's name. So it goes into, there is a Hunger Games in this, and so you kind of brought back into the arena that the Hunger Games had. And this kind of gives a lot of background about how the Hunger Games came to be and kind of some of the things that happened in the Hunger Games, how they came to be. So it's kind of an interesting look at where the Hunger Games came from. Next book is The Canyon's Edge. If you read the Insignificant Events in the Life of a Cactus, this is the same author. This is about a girl named Nora, and a year before the story starts, Nora's mother passed away. They were at a celebration at a restaurant, and there was a shooting, and Nora's mother died. And she and her father are still wrestling with that trauma. Nora has been diagnosed with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And for the 1 year anniversary, Nora's dad decides that they're going to go on a hike out in Arizona. Well, a flash flood happens when they're in this canyon, and Nora's dad is swept away. So Nora is just left to survive on her own. And she has to rely on her survival skills, on the things that her mom and dad had taught her. And kind of, she has to survive on her own. This story is told in verse, so it won't take you too long to read. And some of the poems you can see are shaped differently, kind of depending on the action of the story. So check this one out. There's adventure, survival, and in verse. Black Brother. Love this book by Jewel Parker Rhodes. She is the author of Ghost Boys. And it tells a story of Dante. And Dante is darker skinned, and his brother is lighter skinned. So they don't look alike, but they are brothers. And they've moved to this Middlefield Prep school in Boston, where Dante doesn't look like anybody else in his school. And he is treated differently. And just from the very first chapter, something happens where he ends up in handcuffs in the back of a police car because the teachers and the administration kind of make assumptions about him right from the very start. And Dante is ticked off. And Dante's mother, who is black, is ticked off. And Dante wants to get back at the school and get back at the bully that had just kind of picked him out from the very beginning. Well, fencing is very big at this school. So Dante decides that he is going to learn to fence and kind of take down the bully at his own game. Check this one out. I really, really enjoyed this one. Again, it's not super long. It won't take you too long to read, but brings up a lot of great conversations. And the last one is called Obsessed. This is nonfiction, so it's a true story about Allison. When she was a sophomore in high school, she had a dream, and she wakes up and she can't get these ideas out of her mind after when she wakes up. She is afflicted with obsessive compulsive disorder. And although she doesn't understand why she has to do the things that she has to do, and the voice kind of in her head telling her what to do, like she can't step on different cracks and she can't wear anything green. And she has to, some days she can only eat things that are yellow. And she can't control this behavior. And because she's afraid of what will happen if she doesn't listen to this voice. And she starts doing not as well in school, and she starts kind of falling out with her friends because of this. And she finally gets to the point where she has to do something and she has to seek help. And so this is all of her story about kind of dealing with the OCD as well as finding help. So if you like nonfiction, check that one out. All right, hopefully you find one of these books. Enjoy reading.